Morning. Excuse me. So we're going to do something with Koji, and Koji is actually, I think, from the same makers of Metaverse, um, and it's a place to build apps, and it's really interesting, and it's a great way to introduce some of the concepts of app building. You get to see the GUI, and then you can see the code as well. So it helps bring those two concepts together, like the code, and this is the result of it. So this is the website. So let's go on the left-hand side. So you have your home page. Then you can browse for some games. Then you have projects. I don't have any projects. Then let's see. There's a blog, Discord. Discord is very active. I'm on that server channel and it's active, which is a good thing. Whether it's new people coming along or it's people asking for help, it's very active. So if this is something that you think that you might be interested in, I highly recommend signing up for that. There's a developer place as well. So welcome developers. Below you'll find some resources and tools to start new projects on Koji. So let's see. So there's information there on getting started. And what my process is I like to play with it. And then when I get to the point where I have no idea what I'm doing anymore and it gets to the point of frustration, I remind myself, it's like, hey, you didn't actually read anything about this. So I'm like, oh, I can read it. So that's just my process. I have some students who tell me they like to read everything and then play with it. It's just kind of I kind of compare it to trying to put something together without reading the instructions, and you just kind of look at the pictures and think, "Hey, I'll figure it out." Sometimes it works great, and sometimes it doesn't. I think the one that stands out to my mind the most from my personal experience is my husband and I, this is several years ago, bought a big old barbecue or grill, right? And we thought we could just put it together based off the pictures. It did not work that way. Um, he got very frustrated, and we just kind of got to the point where I was like reading the instructions, and it eventually got together. So I think the same is true when it comes to trying to put something together like our barbecue, or trying to learn anything new, or trying to create anything new. You have the we I think we most of us kind of tend to just look at the pictures and then try to figure it out. And then when you get to that point of frustration and you just realize like, hey, I need to read a little bit. So this is like I'm back on the home page. And what I've been playing with it so far is, and I've been showing students is, let's see. So you can click on a game, and then on the bottom right here, you'll see you can remix. And this does work on Chromebooks, which I was pleasantly surprised about. I wasn't sure. It does work on Chromebooks. I've had some problems. I'll go over here in just a second, and I think it might be just the network if we're on a school system and your school doesn't allow access or whatever by default, because schools have a little bit more restrictions on what the students can have access to. We've come across a couple of roadblocks, but we're hopefully figuring it out and be able to get past it. Okay, so I'm doing a remix on Neon Blast, and let's go over this a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. So this right here on the right-hand side of the Neon Blast is your preview. This is a piece that some schools have been having trouble seeing. We're able to do all this stuff on the left-hand side and go over this, but this is where it won't let us see the preview. I'm assuming it's a network access thing. I don't know. We haven't we're still working on it with one of the schools that I'm working with. So we'll see. Okay, so anyway, so there's tutorials, there's YouTube videos. So it's Neon Blast. Shoot those bouncy enemies while collecting upgrades and supercharge your firepower. So to get started, the main code is front end app index. So if you're on the left-hand side, you'll see front end app and index. Okay, that's the main code. Let's go back to the overview. Feel free to modify anything, upgrade the game, and more stuff. About the game, controls is touch or arrow keys to move. Customizations include tips for the best types of assets in each customization section. Things that can be customized are the colors, images, sounds, game settings. There's the music notes. Avoid resizing the game window while playing. Excuse me, where stuff happens, evidently. So let's look at it on this side right here, the neon blast. So we can go ahead and hit play now. And am I supposed to be hitting stuff? I'm not a gamer. Okay, I got one. Okay. Okay, I suck at that game. Okay. Okay, so then I'm gonna put my name. Okay. So that's the game. So let's see. So that's our overview of this. So let's go on. I think this is a short video if I remember.
Hey there, welcome to Koji. You're probably here because you want
11
to know
minutes.
how you can build and remix apps and publish them to the web. We're going to be doing that in just a second, but first, let's give you a brief overview of the platform. If you go to withkoji.com, you'll find our homepage, where you'll find thousands of different apps that people have created. You can go into each of these apps and click the remix button to remix them. On the left-hand side, you'll see different tabs. Our homepage, a place to find new apps, a place to find the trending and most popular apps, a random button so that you can stumble upon a random app, a link to our Discord server where you can join a community of thousands of makers and developers.
Okay, you'll notice that this, excuse me, the homepage has changed a little bit. Yeah, but let's go ahead and continue.
Your My Projects page and your profile page. Let's go ahead and create something in Koji. As I mentioned earlier, you can click on any app on Koji and then click the remix button to remix it. You can also click on the create button at the top right. This will take you to the create page where you can learn about what Koji has to offer and find several Koji verified starter apps. Let's go ahead and click on the Getting Started template. This will take you to a preview of the app itself. When you want to remix something, all you have to do is scroll down and click on the remix button. This will start up a project on your own profile. This is a new app that you are creating and is based off of the app that you remix. It will contain all of the same information from the app that you're remixing. After a few seconds, the Koji editor will load, and you'll notice a few things. There's a preview of the application on the right-hand side. There's a terminal here at the bottom. We can go ahead and close this out because we're not going to be using it in this tutorial. You'll also find on the left-hand side a directory of your entire project. The directory is separated into 4 main sections. The project section contains your overview and an area to publish your project to the web. Once your project is published to the web, you'll be able to click on this Open Published App link to view your app on With Koji. Directly underneath are the customization controls, and these are controls that allow you to edit specific variables within your project without touching the code. This project has customization controls for colors, game settings, pieces, and sounds, and we'll visit those in just a second. Directly underneath the customization section is the code section, where you'll find all of the code that makes up your project. The .koji folder allows your project to run on Koji. Everything else is just regular code, and you'll see that this project has a back end and a front end. If we go into front end, we can go into pages, game page, and index.js to see our main project file. It looks like this project was built using React and is styled using React components. If you want to make edits to the code, you're free to do so, and you can edit anything about any project on Koji. Let's go into the customization controls. I'm going to close this front-end folder and open up colors. As we mentioned earlier, these customization controls allow you to edit variables within your project without touching the code. Let's take a look at this text color customization control. If we change the color from white to yellow, we can see that the text color on the right-hand side changes from white to yellow. Let's go ahead and change it back to white and notice the preview on the right-hand side. Now let's go ahead and edit some of the game settings. We'll open up the game settings customization control and we'll change our app name to Space Match. Our start button, maybe we'll say play, and then we'll edit our font family. Now when you want to search for a font, all you have to do is go to Google Fonts. I already know the font I'm going to use, so I'm just going to type in Poppins. Again, notice how the text changes on the right-hand side. Now let's change our background image. All we have to do to change the image is click on the pencil icon, and then we can upload our own file or import from a URL. I'm going to import this image and rehost it on Koji. Awesome. Now you can see the background image has changed on the right-hand side. When we play our Space Match game, you'll notice that there are some sounds. We'll mute that for now. And then we have different icons that we use for the pieces. We can also change the width and the height of this project. Let's go ahead and change the width to 6 and the height to 9. We'll also make the moves shorter to 15, increase the base score to 100, and shorten the animation length to 300 milliseconds. All of these changes change live in the preview on the right-hand side. So once they save, the preview will update and you'll see all of the changes. So you can see the rows have changed. We now have 15 moves left instead of 20 moves, and the animations are faster. Now let's go ahead and update the pieces to our project. We'll click into pieces, and just like before, we will rehost images from the web onto our Koji project. So we'll click on the image, we'll click and copy and paste the URLs, and change out all of the pieces to our project. Now you'll notice that the creator of this project included an area for a 6th piece, but right now it has 5 pieces. So let's go ahead and add a 6th piece. Great. It looks like it's all saved. Let's go ahead and test it on the right-hand side. Awesome. It looks like all the pieces have changed. We can also edit the sounds, but I'm going to leave the sounds as is for now. So it looks like our project is ready to be published live to the web. Let's go ahead and test it on full screen to make sure it's full screen. We can do that by clicking on this icon at the top right of our preview. This will take you to a staging link that will be live for about 15 minutes. All right, it's looking like it's all working in the staging link. So let's go ahead and publish our project. We'll go back into the project page and then click on Publish Now. When you get to the Publish page, you'll notice you have to fill out a few fields. So let's go ahead and do that. The name of our project is Space Match. The description, a match 3 game set in space. You'll also want to make sure that you upload a thumbnail. The standard thumbnail size is 1200 by 628 pixels. However, if you upload an image larger than that, it will simply crop the image to fit into the thumbnail. Let's go ahead and upload our thumbnail. All right, it looks like the thumbnail uploaded. Now we can go into our discovery settings and make sure that we include some tags. I'm going to include tags like game, space, arcade, fun. If you don't want your app to be listed on the Koji page, you'll want to make sure that unlisted is checked. I'm going to make sure this is off so that it's discoverable on the Koji site. Lastly, let's jump into remix settings and allow remixing for this app. Looks like it's already checked by default. All right, now we're ready to publish our app live to the web on withkoji.com. All we need to do once we've filled out all the fields in the publish section is click on Publish App. Now Koji is publishing your app straight to the web. This should take a few seconds, and once it's published, we'll get a link which will allow us to see our app on withkoji.com. All right, that sound means it's all published to the web. We'll get a little notification here at the bottom which will allow us to open our project on withkoji.com. We can also always click on this opened published app link to view our project. When we open the project, we'll be taken to an app preview page. This is the page that you use to share your app to anyone on the web. It's easy. You can copy and paste the URL from the top, or you can use the share button. The share button will give you easy access to share all of your apps on social media or even embed them into another website. Let's go ahead and share our app to Facebook. I'll click on the Facebook icon, and then I'll post my project. Made a space game. Check it out. And that's it. Within minutes, we found an application, we remixed it to make it our own, and we published it live to the web.
Okay. So that's an example of how you can just take a game and just kind of restructure it. And let's see. And one of the things that I like about this as a teaching tool is, like they were talking about in the video, you have the GUI, the graphical user interface, and then you can have the code. So let's see. I have images, so you won't be able to see what I do. Let's change this background. Just going to edit. Just go ahead and get rid of that. So now the background, you don't see that background anymore. So I have YouTube playing somewhere. Or maybe it's this. That was that. Okay. So I got rid of that background image just so you can see what I'm getting ready to show you next. So if I'm in the colors, you have the visual and then you have the code. So in the background, say if I want to change that instead of whatever that color is, I want to change it to something like badass. Okay. And let's see. I hit save. Okay. And stop. But then you see that the background color changed. So we can hit and do that. Control Z, Control S to save it. Let's see, what else can I do? So the images, they were talking about the images. Let's see if I want to find a different kind of image. I want to find something that's Star Wars. So I will be the first to admit that I am not the most creative individual, like at all. Creativity is not my thing. So I usually have to start with a template, and that's just how I work. I usually have to start with a template, and then let's do that one. And then I kind of remix it to make it for my own. I wish I was more creative, but I'm not. Oh, that's awesome. Mute this. I love that poster. Okay. Excuse me. So I want to stop this video because, yeah, I don't know, I'm just playing now. But this is one video introducing some Koji stuff, and hopefully it might be something that you might be able to introduce into your classroom. And you can see, like what I did here, for example, all I did was paste the URL. So that's the same thing that works. I do that on you can do that on a website. You can paste the URL if you're trying to insert an image. The image source is the URL. So there's multiple ways of doing something, and this is a great way to introduce some of those concepts where you can see the effects immediately, and it's interesting and it's engaging. And you learn by playing. And once you start seeing this stuff, like for some students, like seeing this right here, they're like, it does not interest them whatsoever until they see like something like the output here. And this kind of gives that relationship. So if I change this back to badass, control Y, I want to work on that. And hit Control S to save it. And well, it doesn't show because let's do something else. Let's see, button color. It doesn't show on that because I have that image now. So button color, let's change that to badass. Okay, so the button color is just now that green color. And you can see that the background color you don't see because I have that image, but that's changed to badass, and the button color's changed to badass. So they can see that. They can see that connection. Code equals this. And it's a great little tool, I think, to kind of reinforce some concepts, introduce some concepts, talking about, what their event listeners in regards to doing things with the arrow keys, images we played with earlier. I'm glad I found that. That's a keeper in my opinion. Sounds. Let's see. So there's a couple of different things you can do. There's all kinds of different things you can do. And then don't forget, like I said, you have in here, you have access to the JavaScript file. And all of that stuff. You can introduce some JavaScript concepts into it, for the variables. And yeah. So anyways, that's where I'm going to stop this video because I will make a very long video if I have the time right now just to go over everything that looks really fun. Okay. So that's it for this. Thank you.